Hello and welcome back to Consistent KUCKIAN, where we keep consistently uploading amazing videos for the first time in my entire life. Hello and welcome back. This is quite a messy video. Today we're going to be talking about Fenty Beauty and their use of child labour and what's being described as child slavery in India to source Mica. And the Mica is being described as blood Mica in the very same way that people talk about blood diamonds. So first of all, welcome to my channel. My name is John KUCKIAN. If you're enjoying the video, be sure to smash the like button. Every time you do, a titty flies into space. A few years ago, Rihanna teamed up with a huge corporation called Kendo, who manufactures and takes care of brands such as Kat Von D Beauty, which has now renamed itself KVD Vegan Beauty, which has bought out Kat Von D, and Marc Jacobs Beauty, and a few other brands as well. Their launch was hugely successful, and if I remember right back, I'm sure they did something like $18 million in the first week or something like that revenue, so really, really big launch. I tried their foundation on this channel along with their highlighter and their contour. I think I still have some of the products. Personally, it didn't work for me, the matte foundation, but I think Fenty packaging is very pretty. It resembles Marc Jacobs in the sense it has a lot of hexagons and it's just very pretty and nice. From a critical perspective, it did look more like a licensing deal than Rihanna's own brand that she was running, you know, in the office every day 9 to 5. Most of the time that people team up with Kendo tend to manage the brands from my understanding, and they own a portion of the company as well. But obviously with Rihanna, you would expect Rihanna owns quite a big portion, whereas other people it's a bit less. There's been this huge scandal breakout because it's come out that Rihanna, whose launch was all about inclusivity and supporting every skin tone, in particular black skin tones, which weren't being represented. I mean, they were being represented at the time, but not by every single brand inclusively, right? When Rihanna launched Fenty Beauty, it was all about inclusivity and anti-racism, supporting every skin tone, having a product for everyone. I've spoken about this a few times on my channel, which I'll talk about later, but the issue is that it looked like they were trying to gear their launch specifically a lot towards black people as well. But now it turns out that they're using child labour of South Asians to get some of their ingredients, which they're then selling onto their international audience, which just present a little bit of an issue, right? I do have some input on this as a brand owner and knowing about where ingredients are sourced from and stuff like that, which I'm going to be happy to give you in today's video. But the reason it's a bit controversial is Kendo is not a black-owned brand. It's a huge corporation. I'm pretty sure it's mostly white owned. I've spoken about this in the past. I did a big investigation just to get an outline of it, and Rihanna's obviously signed with them, so obviously it's a bit controversial that you're trying to take care of people of colour and cater to them, but you're exploiting children in a developing country to source those ingredients. It's just a bit crazy. So one of the things that I thought was interesting with this is whenever something goes positive for Fenty Beauty, people praise Rihanna. And this is just an observation, it's not a criticism. But whenever anything goes wrong for Fenty Beauty, people blame someone else. They say, well, Rihanna probably wasn't involved with it. Like, she probably didn't do that. And I find it interesting because I think to myself, like, at what point is it Rihanna's responsibility? When it's her success, it's 100% her responsibility. But when something goes wrong, it's nothing to do with her. I think it's interesting people do this, and I just wonder why. I like Rihanna, I like Rihanna's music, and their makeup I think is very pretty, and I went to the store and bought it myself. I spent my own money, so I don't have a problem. I didn't return it, I still have it. But I kind of think it's interesting that people do that because a lot of brands don't get that kind of treatment. So sometimes I just wonder, like, why is Rihanna on this pedestal where she can't do anything wrong, but she can do everything right? Just a random idea. Don't get me wrong, I love Rihanna, okay? Obviously, one of Rihanna's biggest products at the launch was this Gloss Bomb lip gloss, which contains Mica, and is sort of glowy and stuff like that. And she just had these highlighted products, the sticks, one of which I bought as well, which I didn't like either. It was a bit dry for me. One of the reasons that there was some controversy at the launch of Fenty Beauty was I went to the store a few weeks after they launched, and there was this beautiful black girl that came in, and I was talking to her briefly. And she was saying to the staff that she'd been there 4 times that week or 3 times that week, and she'd not been able to get her shade, right? And the staff was saying, oh, well, we get deliveries 3 or 4 times a week for all of our foundations, so just keep coming in. And that's when the girl said, I've already come in and you've just not had it on any of those occasions. I'll be honest, when I was there, it wasn't busy. I was the only person sat there at the counter, and this is 1 week after launch, 2 weeks after launch. They did have big queues at the very beginning, but throughout the day, it wasn't busy in Harvey Nichols. And what I got from that was I was thinking what they're doing is making sure that they're keeping the lighter shades in stock, because every single shade that I was looking at was in stock, and I'm like a medium skin tone. And I could see behind the counter, there was an absolute ton of foundations with the lighter shades. But it seemed like they just weren't manufacturing, or they weren't stocking, or they weren't keeping up with the demand for their deeper skin tones, which just looks completely like they're using POC as a corporate weapon, as we've already spoken about last week, to do with the recent movement that's been started by a bunch of brands that have a history of questionable behaviour in terms of racism and supporting Black Lives Matter and all that sort of thing. It almost seemed a bit like they were weaponizing black women again as like, buy our products because we support black women, but they're not actually supporting them because they weren't stocking their shades. Now, obviously, I have to say, this is one incident. I didn't work at the stores. No one has reached out to me, or maybe someone did back at the time, I don't remember. But I only have this one incident, so I can't say for certain that's what happened. Maybe this girl just got super unlucky, and all 4 times that she went, they just sold out of all the shades that they'd received for her particular skin tone. Who knows, right? So anyway, this was exposed by IANS, IANS. Priya Kulkara from the USA said, Rihanna Fenty beauty brand under the lens in India for using mica from mines hiring child labour. Cypress Cone from New York. This is from India.com, by the way. I'm going to link the article down below if you want to go for more reading. Cyrus Cone from New York wrote, Rihanna, stop using real mica, sharing the brutalities video on children engaging in mica mining. B from Virginia tweeted, Fenty Beauty, are y'all 100% cruelty-free? ? They seem to be in violation of the California Suppliers Act by using blood mica sourced from illegal mines in Jharkhand, India. Spanish girl Marie tweeted, complaint filed against Rihanna over exploitation of child labour, Rihanna and blood money. One question I've got for you here, you know Rihanna's Savage Beauty, all the fashion line and stuff like that, where is that manufactured, right? Because we all know Kylie was being manufactured in Bangladesh when COVID hit. Kylie, this supposed multi-billionaire who actually turned out to not be a billionaire because there was fabricated documents, she wasn't paying the factories, and these are people that have worked and have manufactured the goods against South Asians being exploited. There seems to be a recurring theme here, right? Poonam from London said, so glad I no longer use Fenty Beauty. Of all the products I have used, it's complete trash. I will never support makeup brands for using mica or exploiting child slave labor. So much for being vegan and cruelty free. Hashtag ashy. Hashtag basic bitch makeup. Hashtag boycott Fenty Beauty. Okay, can we take a moment for those hashtags? Hashtag ashy. That's so funny. Can we talk about this for a minute? Because this was a huge deal. Ashy, the word ashy, right? So when Fenty Beauty launched, a lot of brands got pissed off because they've been inclusive for years and years and years and they've shown all of their shades. They've not done anything wrong. Makeup Forever HD, MAC Cosmetics. And when all of this happened and everyone was suddenly calling out every single makeup brand saying, you need to step it up, you need to up your game, you need to be more inclusive, Makeup Forever HD did a campaign just gently saying, you know, we've had 40 shades, 45 shades for a long time now, and they showed the shades. And it wasn't a shade against Rihanna, but it was just them sticking up for themselves because they were obviously receiving criticism, and they've been silently inclusive for a long time. And Rihanna commented on that post by Makeup Forever HD saying something like, still ashy though. And obviously it's Rihanna and people love Rihanna, so everyone was like, oh, Makeup Forever HD got roasted, wow. Makeup Forever HD is not ashy for deeper skin tones at all. Like, there are a lot of people that swear by Makeup Forever HD, a lot of professionals that swear by Makeup Forever HD. They have a very, very good range of foundations and they're formulated very well. However, Fenty Beauty has all these shades, but the undertones were crazy. The undertones were absolutely mad. I was in the store and I was struggling to find a foundation. I struggled to find a contour colour. All of their contours were like super, super cold. And then they would have like one contour that's so warm it looks red. And the foundation, the undertones were just like, I just didn't understand it. They were either super yellow or super pink. There was nothing for olive skin tones like mine. I have very green skin. But yeah, I do think it's definitely questionable to call a brand cruelty-free and vegan when you have like children in mines, you know, picking up blood mica. Is pretty questionable. To cap this story off, when you are a small brand, perhaps like a very, very small brand, most small brands are buying, you know, formulas that are already manufactured by a manufacturing facility, so they wouldn't be involved in the process and they wouldn't necessarily know everything that's happening. But as soon as you reach like a reputable brand stage where you are selling to large retailers, you are selling in stores, especially if you sell in the UK is extremely strict with this sort of thing. You have to produce a few different documents. You have a certificate of analysis, which shows you've done microbial testing. You have a product information form, which is like a huge document that talks all about what's in it and how it's made, the manufacturing process. And then you also have a CPSR, a CSPR. I'm trying to remember the exact initials. There's a lot of things with initials when it comes to cosmetic compliance. That document includes lots of things to do with stability control, but when you want to sell into large stores, the requirements are even bigger, because not only do you have the government requirements for what needs to be shown to be able to sell products into the UK, but you also have store requirements. So if you sell to Boots, for example, my understanding from what I've been told is that they want a huge document of like every single thing to do with this formula, every single safety, heavy metal testing, not just the ingredients, but where the ingredients come from, how pure those ingredients are. When you own a huge cosmetic brand like Fenty Beauty that's multi-million dollar and is known across the world, you know where your ingredients are coming from. It's not a mystery where your ingredients are coming from, right? You are purchasing from a supplier. You have documents from that supplier talking about where it comes from, where in the world it comes from. Especially when we're talking about a huge multi-million dollar brand, they should be doing their due diligence to make sure this is not happening. This really, for me, just seems like a repeat of the Kylie Cosmetics situation, or Kylie, whatever the brand is called for the fashion, you know, where she manufactures something using pretty much, you know, very, very, very cheap labor in Bangladesh, sells it for a high price to the US market, and then decides she's just not going to pay the factories because COVID hits. She would not become bankrupt by paying those factories and selling that stock a bit slower than she'd planned to, but instead, you know, she leaves those staff to starve because the factories can't pay them. In what world is this acceptable? Like, in what world is it okay to just completely exploit the Indians in every way possible? I think this is a really interesting discussion. I would love to know what you think about this, the whole situation. Are you going to continue to support Fenty Beauty? You know what? One thing that's been disappointing me recently, for example, I'm just going to put this on the back of this video, is Jaclyn Hill Cosmetics, or Jaclyn Hill Makeup, whatever the brand is called, because she filed like 16 different trademarks and she gave the packaging all different names, was recently taken on by Ulta, right? So I wasn't posting videos this active last year when this all happened, but you all remember Lipstick Gate, when she launched these lipsticks and it was a huge disaster, and people were saying there was mold growing in the lipsticks, there was loads of cotton and stuff in them, and it was a dodgy manufacturer that the owner of Marlena from Makeup Geek, who collaborated with Jaclyn in the past, spoke out and said that she saw Jaclyn at this manufacturing facility when she went to visit them, and she warned Jaclyn and said, this is a very unprofessional factory and you really need to avoid them. I've made samples with them before and they were really bad. And Jaclyn obviously ignored that from what Marlena said. And they're now being sold in Ulta Beauty, right? So the thing that frustrates me is that as an indie independent brand, I put so much effort into my products. I put my life and soul into them, and so do my staff. My team work effortlessly on every single thing that we do, from formulation that I do myself, to running the website, to shipping orders, to the product experience, to, you know, the diamonds that we include in our boxes, the scents that we include in our shipping boxes that we're not doing right now, by the way. All these different things we put so much effort into, and our marketing, making sure that we're being inclusive, you know, being inclusive from the get-go with our models, right? And we run a self-care blog on our website because we've been concerned about our customers' mental health with everything happening with COVID. We have a transparency policy, so we post updates on our growth blog talking about various updates that we're making to our products, our packaging, our ideologies and stuff like that. But despite all of that really, really hard work and good intentions, we are not supported by big retailers right now that I would love to be involved with. And I keep thinking to myself, maybe I need to work harder, maybe we need to increase our product range. We have a great sales volume, we have a great customer base, we have a ton of amazing reviews. Our customers could not be happier. We are increasing our sales volume every single month, right? Things are going so well, but we still are not capturing the attention of like the big retailers that it's my dream to sell with. And I originally, I was just thinking to myself, maybe it's, you know, just because we're focusing on lipsticks, maybe they want a bit more of a product range. But when I saw this come out, and I saw that, you know, Jaclyn, with all of her controversy with the lipsticks and stuff like that, has been taken on by Ulta, it just made me sad a little bit, because I was thinking we actually have a solid product that we've meticulously developed and perfected over the past 3 years now. That's right. It's been 3 years of KUCKIAN Beauty. I bought this balloon for an Instagram photo shoot I was going to do with myself, and then I didn't get around to doing one, so now it's just I just have a number 3 balloon in my house chilling. But it kind of frustrates me that we can do that. We can have a solid sales volume, an amazing ethos, incredible packaging, incredible formula, really happy customers. But we still don't get the screen time. We're not part of the conversation when it comes to inclusivity in cosmetics. As a mixed race person, I would love to be able to have an input into these sorts of things and be involved in various different campaigns. And I get ignored, but Jackie is out here getting in with the huge retailers, and I'm not jealous at all. That isn't what bothers me. It's more the idea that like I was questioning my performance, but then a brand that literally has the most horrific performance and track record since it launched, you know, is being stocked in those stores. I was speaking to Jacqueline Hill a few years ago, and I offered to actually help her with her trademarks because her trademark was being rejected over and over and over again in the US, and I knew why it was happening. She just made an absolute mess of the application. My trademark, I filed myself, having learnt about the legal system for 2 weeks, and it was accepted first time, no issues. And like I offered to help her, and she was like, no, it'll be fine, and it still got rejected again. And I think to myself, like, what am I doing wrong? Like, I feel like I'm educating myself, I'm making the right decisions, you know, I'm covering my back when it comes to paperwork, I'm paying the people that I work with, I don't exploit people, all of my staff are paid a proper salary. And so it kind of just like, it frustrates me a little bit, you know, but anyway, that's enough of a rant about that. I'm sorry to just include that, but let me know what you think about the Fenty Beauty situation. I'm super interested to hear what you have to say, because I just thought it was interesting that a brand that literally speaks out about inclusivity and ending racism is literally using exploitive labour in a developing country of POC children. Anyway, I want to say a huge thank you for watching. I really hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.